All right, welcome to week 5. Our first test of the semester is this week on Thursday specifically. Let me go ahead and switch over to the other screen. So looking at the calendar, again, if you click on calendar here, you can see what things are due. The test will take place on this Thursday. You'll need to do it sometime during Thursday. Make sure you're not, don't wait until the day after. I don't think, no, you will not be able to use late passes on the test. It will have to be on Thursday specifically. If that does not work for you, send me an email ahead of time and we'll figure something else out. But I want to get everyone taking it all on the same day if possible. That way I can grade and move on with things. All right. So the test is on Thursday. It will be, it says it'll be available between 1 a.m. and 12:59 or 11:59 p.m. So basically anytime that day. You'll have a limited time in which to complete the test. I think I set it to 2 hours if my memory serves. Maybe an hour and a half. I should probably double check that. Let me double check really quick. All right, yeah, it is 2 hours. And the test is 18 questions long. Basically all of the chapter 1 stuff that we've seen so far, and that we will see next or this week, I guess, before the test. Well, that basically means it includes 1.1 through 1.6. This week is a little weird, or it's a little strange. We do cover section 1.5 after, of course, section 1.6 is due, I think, today. Yeah, section 1.6 is due today, then 1.5 is due on Wednesday. I don't think section 1.5 shouldn't be that much, shouldn't be that many issues, especially if once you got through section 1.4, I think the other stuff shouldn't be as bad. Let's see. So what other information do we need to know about the test? As far as how you will take it, it will just show up in the tests area when it's available. So it'll show up instead of this test information. This is kind of just a placeholder. This will disappear and the actual test will show up here during this time period between 1 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. Let's see. So you can just click on it and you'll go in. Like I said, it'll be 2 hours. Other than that, it's basically the same as your assignments, except you're not able to check things as you go. You have to do everything, then submit it all. You will not see the grade for your test right away. I have it so it'll submit and I think it'll just disappear. I guess I haven't really played with that on this particular platform yet. But basically, once you hit submit, it'll just say you're done. You won't get any feedback as far as what the grade is, what grade you got or anything like that. Not until I actually have a chance to go through and grade them. So this will hopefully, once you don't see your grade there, hopefully it'll remind you that you do need to submit your work. So when you're doing your test, write down, use pencil and paper, just write down the stuff, do your work on the pencil or on the paper. And when you're done with the test, take a picture of it, scan it, whatever, get it to me. You can submit it to me via Moodle. Let me pull that up really quick and make sure that that is working. Oops, I went ahead and closed it. So in Moodle, there we are in Moodle, where it says test work submission. This is where you're going to make your submission. And test 1 submission site. So you'll take test 1 and then you'll go ahead and submit your work in here. Down in this area, there'll be a thing that says you can add an attachment. That's where you're going to add any pictures. If you took pictures or scans, PDFs, whatever, you're going to attach them here and then submit them. And then I'll have the opportunity to go through and grade. The reason why showing your work is so important is it is really easy to make a small mistake, as I'm sure you've been aware on a lot of the assignments. It's really easy to make a small mistake that changes everything, and suddenly you don't get any points for the question. But if you submit your work, I can be like, oh, it's just this small mistake. You still get the majority of the points. So you don't want to be in a situation where you're missing out an entire question or multiple entire questions because you made a few small mistakes. That would definitely hurt. That would definitely kill your grade. And we don't want that. So we want the test to actually represent what you know. All right, so let's see, I'm going to pull that back up and make sure I'm going through all my checkpoints. Let's see, that is, oh, you are allowed to use your notes with your work. Okay, so yeah, whatever. You're allowed to use your notes. You're allowed to use the book. Open it up in a different tab. Don't close the testing tab. I'm not sure how that would interact if you're in the middle of the test. I'd say open it up in a different tab, but you are allowed to use your book, your notes, your calculator, but no other resources. So you're not allowed to use Google. You're not allowed to use anything else on the internet. I do say that when you go to take the test, you'll want to do this honesty or honor statement, I guess is what it's called here. So print it out and initial next to each of them, or write it out by hand. This is going to be the case for all of the tests we do in this class, but it is you who did the test and the work is your own. You do not give or receive any unauthorized assistance on the test. Don't post or discuss the exam until you can post or discuss after I post the grades, but not before. You are allowed to use your notes and book, and you'll not use any other online resource other than a calculator. Some people are using an online calculator. Whatever, that's fine. I don't necessarily recommend it. I think it's a lot easier to have a physical calculator, but if you are using an online calculator, I suppose that's fine. Let's see. Grading. Yep, I'll be doing manual grading. As far as if you are allowed any additional time for testing, that's a common accommodation used for the Office for Disability Equity. I think that's what it's called. And the ODE, whatever, that's the acronym or the abbreviation that's used there. So if you're allowed, say 1.5 times time, that does apply to this particular test. And to be able to check to see if I've actually set things up properly, I think I've entered everyone that I got the DSS or the ODE forms rather. I think I've already entered all that stuff, but you can double check. If you click on this time limit accommodation check, it's just a fake assignment, if you will. It'll say right here, it says your time limit is 15 minutes. By default, this is set to 10 minutes. So this particular account, I gave a 1.5 times time allowance. I can't talk. And so it shows up as 15 minutes. So if that's, if you're in if this applies to you, you should see 15 minutes. If you're allowed double time, it should say 20 minutes here. So that's one way for you to verify to see if I plugged everything into my open math correctly. And I really like that I only have to do that once, and it'll be that way for the rest of the semester. So yeah, in any case, this is, like I said, it's a fake assignment. Don't worry about trying to accomplish it and trying to complete it or anything. I put a password on it so no one would actually accidentally go into it. The only important part here is that you can see what your time limit is. 10 if your account is unmodified, 15 or 20 if you have increased time. All right, the last couple of things, I guess, just talking briefly about section 1.5. I'm not going to try to teach the information right now. I'll just say that when you're talking about transformation of functions, it can feel a little backwards sometimes with your horizontal translations versus your vertical ones. Just get used to I don't know, just play around with a couple of them, get used to it. It does actually make sense for why when you have something like x minus 3, it's actually shifting 3 to the right. It's because you have to have larger values of x to make up for the fact that you're subtracting 3 there, essentially. Most people are comfortable with the vertical shifts, but then, of course, there's also reflections about the vertical and horizontal axis, throwing a negative in front of your x or your y, basically. Oh, I guess we talk about even and odd functions, vertical. Okay, so yeah, there's a couple of other things that we see in that particular section. I don't think it'll be that big, that difficult, but if it is, of course, send me an email, ask me questions, that sort of thing. There's a couple people that posted in the forums, which is good. I went ahead and moved those posts to chapter 1 because that's the chapter we're currently on. I encourage everyone, if you want to get into a study group, study with a couple other students or something like that, it does make a difference as far as, not feeling quite so alone, and asking other questions. When you're in a study group, there's a couple of good reasons for it. Being able to ask other people questions, get their opinions on it, learning from them. Also, if you already understand the stuff, helping other people actually gives you a much better understanding of it. They say that, learning the material and being able to test well on it, you get up to here. And then when you go around to teach it, you have to have you have to know it up to here, because people will throw unexpected questions and you have to it really does reinforce what you know. So, if you actually teach it, it does help your understanding there. So that said, the study groups are good, whether you don't know them, whether you're struggling with the material or if you're doing well. Study groups are still good to be in. So just go ahead and post in here if you have any times that are available. Obviously, you'd probably want to do a study group before Thursday, since the test is on Thursday. And looking forward a little bit after the test, because that, we do start chapter 2 on Friday. I don't think chapter 2 is going to be too incredibly difficult either for anyone. It's dealing with linear functions. It's basically just applying all the slopes, slope intercept form, those sorts of concepts, but really using the function notation along with it. So in any case, that stuff started on Friday. It's not due until next week, Tuesday, I believe. No, Monday. So yeah. So that's all I have for you this week. Send me those emails if you have questions. I'll do what I can to answer them. Obviously, last week I did post that extra video. If I get several people asking similar sorts of questions, I'll do another video like that. But that's kind of how I plan to do things this semester. So good luck on the test, and I'll see you, I'll talk to you again next week, if not earlier.